So Jan, you're the lead councillor for climate change at Guildford Borough Council. What does that actually mean?
Well, so my main responsibility areas is I chair the Climate Change Board, but most of my work revolves around bringing the community and the businesses and the various stakeholders together to tackle the issue of climate change at a holistic level. As we know, this is a very large topic and requires largely cooperation. No single entity is capable of taking on this challenge, so I act as that bridge across the various different institutions, individuals, businesses and county council.
And I know that there's an aim of what they call net zero. What does that actually mean?
Well, we resolved a climate emergency some time ago in this council, and so what we're working towards is a net zero target for the borough, which is essentially trying to reduce our emissions to a minimal number. And we work on a 3 R's principle, which is reduce, replace and resolve. We reduce emissions wherever possible. That can be through emission reductions through efficiencies, better technology. We replace where we can. So for example, we just installed some solar panels on 2 of our large assets, our offices by the riverside, but also some of our car parks, making use of that space, otherwise gone to waste. It's for greening our electricity, which is a great way of reducing emissions. And then finally, we've looked to resolve. In Guildford's case, this might be offsetting. That's a word that I use hesitantly because that means different things to different people. In our case, it's largely focused around tree planting and capturing carbon from the atmosphere through natural means or otherwise. We're also looking at other technologies. But this is a process that's very much on the final end of the scales, so to speak. So, we try and replace and reduce wherever possible first.
So borough emissions, as far as you're concerned, those are 2 big words, I know, but it is achievable?
We think so. It's important to bear in mind that the cooperative element in all this, so the Guildford Borough Council itself only accounts for 1% of total emissions in the entire Guildford area. So we really need to work with others, and we look to cooperate with the Surrey County Council and stakeholders across the borough to do that. And this includes individuals and businesses. And the way to achieve that really is to set out a roadmap that can get us there in a credible manner.
And you talk about obviously people working together and the need to work together. With obviously the Borough Council having declared, as many others have, a climate emergency, what is it that people and businesses and organisations can actually do to help combat it all too?
That's an excellent question. Essentially, there's a lot of tools online that can first establish what your carbon footprint is. Online calculators, and these are both applicable to businesses or individuals. And that lets you understand really where your emissions are coming from. And then there's some really good suggestions there when you can start to reduce those things. We're also really keen on promoting active travel. So for example, we've got Guildford's first ever car-free day coming up on the 26th of September. And that's a really exciting opportunity because not only is that good for the environment, but it's also got a lot of other benefits from active travel, whether it's health and various other things. And finally, we look to implement schemes or support schemes. For example, Surrey County Council had a solar scheme, Solar Together, where you could support residents installing solar technology on their premises. That's recently closed, but we are sure it'll run again. So these are all things we actively promote to try and reach our targets.
Obviously, people have had a lot of other things on their mind. The Borough Council has had a lot of things on its mind in the last 15, 18 months or so. Now that it looks like we're beginning to at least live with that situation, if not having defeated it, climate change is very, very much back on the agenda. How quickly do you want to move on this now?
Well, it never left my agenda, that's for sure. I appreciate, obviously, priorities shift with the global pandemic being a huge resource drain, but certainly I'm hoping that actually the big takeaway from this is the community spirit that we found amongst all the madness and the chaos and the tragedy. Was this spirit of actually when we come together, there's almost no challenge we can't take on. So I think that people will be looking at the climate change agenda and thinking, actually with the same level of urgency and togetherness that we displayed against the coronavirus, perhaps we can move very quickly on this, and that's my hope.
And here we are today, Jan, talking in a lovely part, one part of Stoke Park, here in Guildford. There are a lot of wonderful green spaces in and around the borough. How important is it to protect those with regards to the climate change issues you're thinking about?
Well, we're incredibly lucky in Guildford, and one of the greenest parts of the country, one of the most wooded parts of the country, and preserving that is not only important from a climate change perspective, but also biodiversity and well-being perspective. So it is absolutely essential. We're hoping we've got some exciting policies already adopted and also coming up. So, for example, from our planning policies, we've got a 20% increase in carbon offsetting required on new builds and any existing proposals, but also we've got exciting new biodiversity requirements coming in with new planning policies as well. So maintaining this green asset we have is an absolute priority. We're so fortunate to have it, and protecting it is top of our list.
Jan, thank you very much.
No, thank you.